Hello, viewers. Welcome to yet another edition of the Diaspora Connect show. And joining me today is a valuable member of our community. He is a chartered accountant by profession, and also the president and founder of Daraja. Let's welcome Mr. Kuda Shamu.
Thank you, Godfrey. Thank you for having me on the program.
Yeah, no, thank you. Thank you for making time to come through and have a conversation with us, and also so that we get to hear about what you guys are doing out there. Yeah. So, well, to start with, I always start with a very simple question, which is, outside of the titles and everything else, who is Kuda Shamu, to those that don't know?
Thank you. And yes, the titles came later on, but as human beings, we start from somewhere, right? So Kuda is a boy who was born in Mutare, Zimbabwe, in the eastern highlands of the country. So you might as well call me one of the wise men from the east. But yeah, born and bred in Mutare, in a very middle-class family. And having parents who wanted us to have the life that they didn't have themselves, managed to get us into what I term good schools. After that, we found ourselves coming to Australia here as a student. And then things happened. Obviously, we're going to walk through that. Kuda, young boy, born in Mutare, grew up in Mutare till after high school, and then came to Australia as a student and never left.
Okay, interesting. So I'm going to take you back before we come to Australia. So which school did you go to? How was school life for you? And
So, as I said, my parents, they really wanted to focus on providing us with the life that they didn't have. From a young age, maybe from the age of 2, they got us in, me and my older brother and the other brothers. I come from a family of 5 boys, being the last born as well. But they took me to a kindergarten, like a daycare in the city. And we grew up in Dangamvura there, which was not in the city, but they would drive and drop me off at this daycare, Lynette's Crash. It's like a Montessori kind of daycare in Mutare. It's opposite, Mutare Girls High. So it was one of those, I guess, very nice daycares, age 2. So I guess those values were instilled from that very young age to say, when I grow up, which I have, I also should provide my child with, something that I didn't have. And, we are trying to do that as a parent. I'm trying to do that. But from Lynette's Crash, I went to Mutare Junior School. Again, we had to catch the bus, or Dad would drop us off to go to Mutare Junior School, which was located in the leafy suburbs of Mutare, Greenside. Either we caught a bus from Dangamvura there to go to Greenside to Mutare Junior School, or Dad would drop us off if he had the time. So MJS was a very good school, you could call it a sister school to Mutare Boys High and Mutare Girls High. At that time, these schools were still very, very much good schools. From there, after I finished my grade 7, I went to St. Augustine's High School in Penalonga in Mutare there. Some people would know it as Santa or Kwatsambe. And as people would say, kana usina kufunda patsambe. In Shona, basically saying, if you didn't go to school at St. Augustine's, we are not quite educated. We got, that's where I got my foundation as well, coming from that very nice daycare to Mutare Junior School, and then to St. Augustine's High School, but then finishing off my A-levels at Sakuva High School in Mutare. I wanted to go to Mutare Boys, but my brother had done quite a lot there. So my parents said, no one goes to Mutare Boys High. So I ended up going to a school that they thought would really set me up for success in terms of high school. And I finished that, which is where I found myself coming to Brisbane, Australia.
Okay. Interesting. So high school is done. Now we're moving into Australia as a student. How was that like?
So, firstly, I just didn't move here. Someone had to believe in me. And I think what was happening at the time in the country, in Zimbabwe, was that a lot of people had left to go to the UK. So, one of those people who left in the late 90s was my brother and his wife. And, my dad and my mom had done their bit to get us to where we were, and they continued. They're still continuing. They're still there. But my brother also wanted to give back to his siblings, to empower his siblings. So when he moved to the UK, he sacrificed to pay for my initial fees at Griffith University. He just wanted us to get the best life. Left Zim in 2007. And Zim, as you all know, what was happening in Zim in 2007, having someone sacrifice and getting you over here is something that I'm forever grateful. I moved as a student, but not coming from a place of abundance, which means we had to subsidize, what brother was doing. So that meant a lot of working and a lot of also jumping on the bandwagon of black tax, paying 3 times the university fees, compared to the locals, and surviving, right? You still want to eat, you still want to be able to afford some of these things that you need as well as a human being. So it wasn't as easy or as rosy, but we made life work. And, coming from Zim, without any family, also being the last born, I didn't know how to cook properly for myself when I left. I'd never worked in my life. So coming here, finding myself having to work for the first time and navigating all that was a journey in itself. So student life, I'd say the beauty was that it was not only me who was coming from the middle class sort of background. So you tend to then befriend people who are similar or coming from similar backgrounds, and then you tend to motivate each other to do the right thing. So I think for me, I'm quite grateful for the friends that I made here that I didn't know from Zim. They became the family that I have here, being overseas. Yeah, so that was the journey, coming overseas where there's no family, not many friends that you knew, and then starting from scratch, basically, and learning things that maybe at that point, 18-year-olds or 19-year-olds like me in Africa or in Zim were not doing. Things like working, because the jobs there are not as available for younger people than they are here. So we had to quickly learn that for survival in the diaspora, you have to work.
So what kind of jobs were you doing at the time as a student, trying to make ends meet? You're also trying to help Big Brother in making sure that all fees are paid and everything is catered for.
Yeah. No, you're taking me way back now. That's now a roller coaster. So I started off working in Edmore Plains. A very good friend of mine who I went to school with at St. Augustine's was already working there, Partridge. And it's a place called the Glen Hotel. The hardest job I've ever done in my life, like the shock of having to be a dishie, right? Washing those dishes. Sometimes they had 3 functions or 4 functions. It's a big place, which meant all those dishes, we had to churn them, right? Start with the entrees, goes to the mains, go to the dessert, all those coffees, all those glasses, we had to just wash everything. So it was hard. After the functions were finished, people would go, and we are still there, stuck there washing those dishes till 2 a.m. in the morning. And guess what? Tomorrow you have to go to uni, and you have to come back again in the afternoon. So it wasn't quite easy. But then I think I did that for about 3-4 months, and then at one point I nearly broke down, and I said to Mom, I want to come back. It was so bad that Mom said, I know Zim is hard. Maybe we should consider you coming back, because it was the shock of having to grow up quickly without, it wasn't a soft landing, because just you come here, that you just have to work and, get things done. But I was lucky enough to apply for a role at Coles supermarkets in Maya Center in the city. And that's when I joined Coles as a checkout chick initially. And I was at the registers there, greeting people and just scanning their groceries before I then said, I think, with my uni, a better balance would be for me to work in the groceries department as a night fill, person, just filling up the shelves. And I worked my way up till I became the night fill captain.
Oh, interesting.
Allocating shifts and supervising basically what was happening in the supermarket. So you can tell that it wasn't exactly the easiest, but I think Coles made it easier because the pay was better. And the working conditions were much better for me to balance with university.
So is this like typical of many students, or probably students that came the time that you guys came, or is it the same thing that's still going on right now?
So I think, look, it was a culture that we got here. It was already there. So students, international students, are allowed to work 20 hours a week. I'm not sure now what's happening. I've been out of the game for a while, but we were allowed to work 20 hours a week. During our holidays, we didn't have any restrictions. But yeah, pretty much everyone. But the problem is some students who came, they got a lot of money working at distribution centers and stuff like that they forgot why they were here in the first place. Because now they're making a lot of money. And I think for whatever reason, some of them could get more hours than the 20 hours. And they started buying these cars. They're living the life now, but forgetting that we came here to study so that we can actually better our lives on a permanent basis, as opposed to that short-termism, if I can call it that.
So they forgot the why.
Forgot the why, basically. And we've got a lot of examples of people who just really were making good money that they could actually afford to even pay for those fees. But, those are the people who would host those parties, and the students would just go and enjoy. But those who remembered the why, you can tell today they are the professionals. But those who didn't, they're probably still stuck somewhere or going on with their lives in different capacities. Yeah.
So what were you studying at Griffith?
I did a Bachelor of Commerce and I majored in accounting at Griffith. I always wanted to be an accountant from back home. And that's coming from my dad, who worked at Mtare Board and Paper Mills as an imports and exports controller. So, having an office, and I was inspired by what Dad was doing at that time, and wanted to do more than he did, right? So Dad was not a chartered accountant, but was working in some sort of an accounting role, because it was responsible for sourcing all the materials that came at Mtare Board and Paper Mills from overseas. So things like pulp and chemicals that they required would go through my dad's office and my dad's desk. And him being a very pivotal stakeholder at Mtare Board, I just would marvel at, that some of the stakeholders that would come from overseas would definitely see my dad first, and sometimes would go for dinners with these people from England, people from Finland, people from Germany, all these other people from South Africa. Dad would take me along, as the last born, take me along with mom to go and have dinner with these business people. So that instilled something in my mind that I would like to be somewhere in business when I grow up.
So creating an environment really is very powerful in what people then become along the journey.
It's environment. It's also seeing is believing, right? So in my case, I think having seen someone who's already doing it kind of shaped that imaginative side of my brain to say, and my dad always laughs at me and say, I used to say one day I'll be sitting on a swivel chair as a manager. And, we are there now. I'm actually a risk manager by profession. And to your point, what you said before, also now a chartered accountant. That came from dreaming first and then implementing alongside getting that inspiration from people who've walked that path before.
I always say that it's important for people to see and be exposed to certain environments for them to be able to dream. Because I think we are also limited by what we see and what we know. I think our dreaming is limited to that. So kudos to Dad for taking you along and exposing you to that space.
Yes.
So what is so now from the transition from graduating and getting into the professional space? Can you take us through that?
Yeah, that's another phase. That was quite hard as well. So armed with a paper from Griffith University that says, it's a testamer. You're now a Bachelor of Commerce majoring in accounting degree holder. I thought I was armed with this paper and I could just knock on any door, and send a couple of emails out, and I would be invited to an interview, and because I did quite well with my studies. I've got a couple of high distinctions. That really doesn't matter here. What really matters in Australia, and indeed in the Western world, is experience, right? So that's where you quickly realize that whilst we were working for survival and for paying the fees and all this, our peers were already getting the very much needed work experience. They don't have to worry about immigration or anything like that, or sending money back home. So they can afford to actually not be paid to get that very much needed hands-on work experience. By the time they finish, it's easy for them to put on the CV that they've done this before. When we are going, yes, we can show that we are employable. We've got the work ethic because we could retain a job for 3-4 years of studying. But when you're trying to transition now, you don't have anything to do with accounting on your CV. You're coming in and say, I worked at Glen Hotel, I worked at Coles supermarkets, great. But where is the relevant work experience in your so you're competing with people, the locals, who don't have to go through the hurdles that we have to go as immigrants, as international students. And you go on a temporary residency visa, the graduate visa, still not favorable by many companies for their graduate programs. They would rather people with citizenship or permanent residency. Right. So that formed a chicken and egg sort of, how I need the experience for me to get the right role, and, without the experience, I can't. So it was hard, and, it was really, really hard to transition into the workplace. But I must have sent thousands of emails out there. Go for interviews. They tell you you've interviewed very well. You're probably one of our favorite candidates. But when it comes to the nitty gritty now, what's your status in terms of immigration? Then you say, I'm on that 18 months graduate visa. And that's a deal breaker, right? Broke my heart multiple times, really. You think you've got it. When you interview well, you can tell that I've interviewed well. I think, I made an impression there. And they actually called you and said, you did make an impression, but because of your, come back to us when you get your paper sorted. Very, very difficult. And many people go through that, right? But one company responded to my to a job application that I put in, and Suncorp Bank, Suncorp Insurance at the time. I joined Suncorp Insurance. They also wanted, by the way, permanent residents and citizens. For whatever reason, still on my graduate visa, they got me in. Must say it was a foot in the door kind of role. So I was a recoveries and settlements consultant to start with, basically recovering monies owed to the insurance company from third parties and third-party insurance companies, and also settling bills that our clients or the insurance company owed so settling that we owed to third parties and third-party insurance companies. So once I got my foot in the door, I continued pursuing that permanent residency status, and I got that, right? As I got that, I was now able to start looking for things that were sort of aligned to what I'd studied. But again, what pains me, my peers had already long gone. They're already managers at this time. We are still on the phones quarreling with people, but we spend thousands and thousands of dollars educating ourselves so that we can as well participate in professions that are aligned with our studies. So to answer the long story short, it was not an easy transition. It was a journey in itself from uni to the workspace.
That brings me back to a conversation I had with a guest a couple of weeks ago. Do you think that race plays a role?
I'm not going to say it's racism, but I'm going to term it unconscious bias.
Yes.
Unconscious bias in the sense that it's it's the system that's kind of biased towards people with the right names. In quotes, Kuda Shamu is not going to be an ideal name.
It's not aesthetically pleasing.
It's not Anglo-Saxon. And it's not what maybe someone and people will struggle pronouncing that. So you see quite a lot of people, including myself, end up going with their middle names if they've got an English name. At some point, and in fact, I'm known as Tim or Timothy at work. It's only now recently I said, no, look, I want to go back to my first name because, we have to try pronounce these names because it's our names. This is our identity. But at one point we were forced to, unlike some of our Asian counterparts who actually pick names when they come here, most of us, especially coming from Southern Africa, we've got middle names that are English.
Yes.
Godfrey, you'll be okay. But for us, Kuda Shamu is too long for a CV. So had to go with Tim or Timothy, which I was given at birth, my middle name. And, it kind of helps, but still the last name is not sounding right still. And it's only when you are invited to the few interviews that you go and they see your skills, that you've got the listening skills, you can speak okay, we can understand you. Then, they say, they go through your CV. It's ticking quite the boxes. But yes, there is an aspect of unconscious bias in the recruitment environment.
Is it also that we don't have immigrants within the decision-making spaces?
Yes, it's part of that. So unconscious bias happens when during the design of these things, we are not represented. I'll give you an example of where unconscious bias, we face it every day. Siri, for example, with our accents and stuff like that, might struggle to hear you because we are not represented at the design stage of these things. So that's transferable to what we're talking about here.
Yes.
If we worked or hold, and I think it's changing now with the number of immigrants that are coming and stuff like that. But at that time, remember we're talking I've been here for nearly 20 years.
Yeah.
We were not many at that time. Yes, we were not quite represented at the table where these things, right now I'm pretty sure people can advocate to say, maybe your AI, when it's sifting through the CVs, should blank the name so that we don't pick just based on names or check out CVs based on names and stuff like that. So yes, some of it is from the design stage because of underrepresentation.
That brings me to Daraja. What is Daraja?
I think that's an easy question for me to answer, the what. But I would like to, after I answer quickly in one sentence, the what is Daraja, walk you through the why.
Yes.
If you allow me, please, just maybe five minutes.
Please.
So what is Daraja? Daraja is basically a mentorship program, a culturally attuned mentorship program that's aimed to empower young Africans and young African leaders. Now, we do this using an AI-driven platform where we match our participants, the cover board, we match them, and off they go to participate in this structured mentorship program. Now, mentorship is not new. It's always been there. It's there. But ours, we obviously bring in the aspect of tapping into the already existing African talent pool globally, not only in Australia. So the vision is quite big. But we piloted here in Brisbane last year. And in a nutshell, that's what Daraja is. It's a culturally attuned mentorship program aimed at empowering young Africans. But I think for people to understand why we are here, sitting here talking about Daraja, it's important to continue the conversation of where I came from, because it's all part of it. Right? So I've painted a picture of coming here, going through the studying, the transition, which was really, really difficult. But at Suncorp, there was a magical moment that happened there one day. I was coming from finishing off my lunch with my colleagues, and we went back up to level 32, where on that side of the floor, we were recovering the funds. Remember, I said I was a recoveries and settlements consultant at that time. On the other side were executives sitting there. We never interacted because obviously it's that side and they're obviously busy people.
Yes.
But what happened was as the door opened, you can imagine that the plan was the kitchen area in the middle, executive on that side, we are on the other side. So we have to pass through the kitchen area to go to our side of the floor. I see a black guy washing up after lunch, washing his lunchbox. My eyes immediately lit up. We've got another black man in the office. I'm going to have to introduce myself. So I said to my colleagues, I'll catch up with you at the desk areas, but I'm going to have to say hi to this gentleman. Went, introduced myself, exchanged names, and I could pick his accent. He could pick mine. The next question obviously is, where you from? Turns out he's from Zimbabwe.
Nice.
Oh, I've got a Zimbabwean brother here. But then in my mind, I'm like, I've never seen you on the other side of the way I sit, right? Because I've been here for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So what do you do? Oh, he said, oh yeah, I'm the group internal audit executive. So he's an executive manager.
Yes.
In internal audit. Immediately, I knew I had to network with this guy because it was finally I've seen someone who looks like me, comes from the same background as me, living the dream that I want to live. Right? He's already working as an executive in internal audits. He's also a chartered accountant. At that time, I wasn't a chartered accountant yet. I was still had just finished again, just got that entry level role, and I went back to my desk because it told me his name. I found him on the intranet. I literally became a stalker. Hey, man, and it was reserved, of course. We just met. I don't know you and all that. But eventually he let me in. So, hey, let's go for coffee. Let's go for lunch. And I started actually telling him, look, I've got my Bachelor of Commerce. I majored in accounting. I really want to be in any space to do with accounting, whether it's in audit or... He said to me, well, I'm not going to bring you in my team like that to give you, but what I will do for you is go speak to your boss as part of your development. Just tell them that you want to do a day in the life of in his team. And I can facilitate that for you so that you know if this is what you really want. So you taste, you have a look, you speak to people. That day is yours to run. I just introduce you to the people and then you can sit with them, you can shadow them and all this stuff. I said, that's great. I'm going to do it. So I spoke to my boss. My boss said, yeah, that's fine. It's part of your development. Put it in the development, the system. That day came, I sat there. I'm like, great. What's next, right? So it was a good day. I loved it. He asked me, how did you feel? I'm like, great. I want to join the team. Get me in. Said, no. The next step is we have to try get you in a secondment opportunity when that arises. I'm not going to because it's not like where we come from, where people can just open roles for you. We have to wait till there's need and they can justify and all that stuff. And that secondment never happened. He left the company to go to another bank, CUA, and then Commonwealth. And, he's now a chief risk officer at another bank as well. But my plug is gone, right? Yeah. But what I had created there was the friendship, was the brotherhood, was mentorship. Literally, he was now mentoring me, even though he had left the company. And he said, I want you to start your CPA, right? Have some professional qualification that will just help you become well-rounded and stuff like that. So that's when I commenced my CPA. I then managed to, by myself, also navigate through. Stancorp is a big company, went into the bank, worked in underwriting solutions, and, just moving around the company because it's a bank and an insurance company as well. So we had that opportunity to move around. So I managed to get a bit more experience in different spaces with his guidance, though. 2017, I decided to go to the UK. So decided to sell everything. I was still a single guy at that time and just wanted to go and get international experience, travel, work. So I sold everything that I had. And before I left, I said, hey, man, I've decided to go to the UK. I said, that's a good idea, actually. I've worked in the UK myself. When you get there, let me know. Got there. He introduced me to a lady who worked at Santander Bank. I went to see this lady. She worked in internal audit. she was interested in giving me a role. And then whilst waiting, I was applying for other roles as well. So I got another role from Vanguard Asset Management. It came down to who was paying more and who was ready for me to go. And Vanguard was ready. So I worked at Vanguard in London for 2 years. And then again, he's now my guy. Every decision now I'm making professionally, I am actually
running it past him.
Finished my CPA whilst in London and got my certificate in London. He was very happy to say I'd taken his advice. I finished my chartered accountant now. To fast forward 2 years, time to come back home to Australia. My visa had run out now in England. So who do I call? Man, I'm ready to, in a few months, I'll be coming back because I'd resigned at Suncorp at that stage. He said, yeah, that's easy. Now that you're a chartered accountant, what I need you to do is to get Big Four experience, right? And leave it with me. Before I knew it, 2 days after having that conversation, I get a LinkedIn message from PwC, their HR saying, oh, we saw your profile. One of our partners would like to have a chat with you. Is that okay? Of course, I said yes. And I knew what was now happening. Obviously, I've tapped into my mentor's network again. And I had a conversation with this partner. It was really a conversation. How's London? Have you been to it? When do you come back? I tell him, he said, okay, we'll organize the last flight from wherever you're coming from back to Australia. You start in January 2020. So I said, I'm going to Zim from London first for a month, just over a month. And from Zim, I'll move back to Oz. So that last flight from Zimbabwe back to Australia was on PwC, just like that. And I'm coming back. Luckily, I came in January just before COVID started. And my experience at the Big Four firm started. Beautiful time there, working with this partner, getting doors open for me, working at big clients, building relationships. And to this day, he's my mentor as well, this partner. We catch up every quarter.
Oh, nice.
He's part of Daraja because he mentors me. We walk through it and all that stuff. But what had happened there is I now had the mentor without knowing that this guy is... I had now tapped into his network, of the decision makers, basically. And we continued on that journey. I'm happy to say that he's still my mentor to this day. And we are even business partners to this day, including a venue that we co-own that I got married at in Zimbabwe. And I still run to this day decisions to do with career past him. So from that level 32 moment, I managed to create a long-lasting relationship, mentorship relationship, brotherhood, and it's now family to me. So fast forward, after PwC, I went back into the industry, leading to where I am today, QBE Insurance, another beautiful company. And my boss was on my case, first 6 months of joining this company. We need to do something with your development. Here at QBE, we develop people. And I said, I could do internal courses. And they said, no, we can do external as well. I'd never seen that. Within the first 6 months of joining, they're pushing for even external funding, external courses. So I went without consulting my mentor and I applied at GIA, which is Governance Institute of Australia. Given that I had pivoted into risk management, I wanted something to do with governance as a qualification. So I called him and said, oh, they are paying. Why are you doing GIA? And risk is risk. You already are working as I amassed some experience from London, from here, as a risk consultant. And so I kind of was across risk.
Yeah.
He said to me, no, do MBA. If they are paying for it. He said, I don't think they'll pay. That's $60,000, $70,000, man. He said, it doesn't hurt to try. Just go and ask. I went back. I asked my boss, I want to do an MBA instead. She said, yeah, sure. I'm like, 6 months in? Okay, cool. I applied back at Griffith and got in. So now the Griffith MBA is based on sustainability. So everything that we do, so it's innovation for impact, finance for impact, marketing for impact, systems thinking and sustainability, things like that. So it's actually based around sustainability. So there was this one course that I did, in 2 courses actually, systems thinking and innovation for impact. With innovation for impact, they got us to write on something that's innovative and impactful, but they encourage us to even reflect on our own lives, what's been impactful to us. Now, I thought about it, I reflected, and I wrote about a mentorship program for Africans. Because I'd reflected, I saw what mentorship had done to me, the networks that came from that, the opportunities that came from that, the access that came from that. So I wrote about providing that. When I finished, my lecturer said, you know what, this is on paper, but I think there is need for you to actually,
follow through.
That's where I decided to register a not-for-profit, a charity, and that's how Daraja was birthed. We piloted here in Australia, and as part of the journey, I still consult my lecturers to say, whatever you taught me, we want to see it in practice. So they have been part of this, advisory board that I have. And I'm happy to say that when we launched in Brisbane, we got a very good positive response, even from the Queensland government, including our people, that there is need for these things. Something that's structured, something that's organized, something that has governance processes. I mean, we've got an advisory board, we've got a steering committee, and we've got proper structures to make sure that this is not just something that starts and stops. We hope that this becomes an institution. So we did pilot here, but coming from that paper that I wrote was where Daraja was birthed. That's why I said we need to give our people opportunities to have the right access to the right people, the right access to the right knowledge. What you're doing here is fantastic, by the way. It's
thank you.
Knowledge capture. And what you're doing is people can self-serve some of these, episodes and can get the knowledge from your awesome participants who are coming here. And we didn't have many of these things happening, right? So you will be surprised that people will get inspired from conversations like these. And when we have a repository somewhere where it's all captured, it's fantastic. So kudos to you for that. Opportunities, right? We spoke about how hard was it to transition. We have examples of where we've shortened that gap for people. Now, Daraja means bridge in Swahili. As you and you know that we are not Swahili speakers.
Yes.
But we went with the Swahili word for it because we are Pan-African at heart. We are not a Zimbabwean outfit. We are an African outfit. So true to our name, we exist to close the opportunity gap. We exist to provide access to people like me and you, immigrants, Africans, so that they can easily get the guidance that they need, get the access. And if you think of a bridge, right, it provides an interflow of traffic, two-way, one going that way and that. So even the mentors, even though they've had their experience, because we need them to have at least 7 years of experience, would also learn from their mentees, right? Because it's an interflow of knowledge that's happening there. So we found ourselves thinking, this is something that's needed. And as you know, we recently also launched in Melbourne, where the response there was overwhelming, actually, where we had the first African mayor or a mayor of African descent being our keynote speaker, said a powerful speech that inspired all of us. He's only 27.
Oh, really?
Mayor Mohammed Semra.
Wow.
He came, he blessed our event and spoke from the heart. And this is why we exist, to bring Africans together so that we can inspire each other. We can close that opportunity gap and we can provide that access as well.
That's beautiful. Having said that, so how do students who are looking for mentors, how do they connect with Daraja? How do they, from wherever they are, they could be students that are watching today and are interested in, getting mentors and being part of the program. And also there are other mentors out there who are willing also, to give back by, mentoring some other kids. How do they, connect with you?
Now we've got like any other organization these days, we've got social handles. So you can connect with us via LinkedIn, connect with us via Instagram, Facebook, and we do have a web page as well. So www.darajaimpacthub.org. You go there. There's a channel there. There's a button there that takes you to a journey to sign up. So that's quite easy. And yes, we call on students, African students who are seeking guidance from people who've walked that path before. We encourage you to sign up. And mentors, people who've been here for a while, they've got the experience and want to give back. All we ask for is 10 hours a year, basically, because it's 1 hour a month for a 10-month program. So it's not a big sacrifice if you know the impact that this could have on someone who is on this journey and could learn from what you've gone through as a professional. So we really encourage people who with the experience to come. So for this to be sustainable, we need an equal flow of both mentees and mentors. So encouraging, regardless of your area of expertise, whether you're a nurse, you're an occupational therapist, you're an accountant, you're an engineer, you're in the arts, we encourage you to come and give back. And we know that knowledge is knowledge as well. It doesn't have to be like for like. What I mean by that is even an accounting student can be meshed with an engineer because leadership is leadership.
Yep.
Right. But sometimes people want specifically to be matched with people in their industry, and we've done that. And we've seen things happen. Already we've got examples. We do have a channel that we capture testimonials from people in our program. So Daraja Impact Stories on YouTube. Make sure you check it out and hear from people who are actually on the program, how they are finding it.
Nice. So people, let's get on to the YouTube. Let's go watch that. Because it's about, what we're doing is about inspiration. So you go out there and be inspired and get to know what Daraja is doing. So, So I know you guys run events. How do people get to know about your events? When is the next event? What does really happen at these events?
All right. So, good point. I think our events are tailored to bring participants together and bring would-be participants as well under one roof. By participants, I mean would-be mentors that are already on the program, would-be mentees that are already on the program, partners and sponsors, community leaders, right? We bring everybody under one roof to facilitate networking because we believe that networking is a key ingredient in anyone's journey. Now, Godfrey, I know you now, and we were talking to other people even this afternoon, because we are networked, we are even trying to find synergies there. Things happen, right? When you are networked with the right people.
Right.
So sometimes I know a lot of people who say, I've been here, maybe I came on a work visa, or maybe I'm a student. Where are the Africans? I don't see them. So this is another platform where it's not the only one. There are many other events that are out there, but ours is obviously tailored on professionalism, on mentorship, and on that fellowship through networking, right? So what happens at the events, usually we have, I say, a bit of a blurb of where we've been and what we do and the why. And then we have a keynote speaker, and we've had fantastic keynote speakers everywhere we've gone. And after that, we usually have a panel discussion where different topics are discussed. It could be a topic on immigration, because we make sure our panel is a mixed bag so that it represents some of the pain points. We're getting someone who can actually answer some of the pain points that we have as Africans. So we could have someone from an immigration point of view, someone from a HR point of view, someone from a community leadership point of view, and just various people who've actually or are working in these areas, coming with their expertise to share, to broadcast. That's also powerful that we do. And it gives people the opportunity as well to ask questions after. So there will be a Q&A, and then usually we provide lunch and our people can fellowship and network from there.
Beautiful. I actually forgot to ask you something to say. As a student, I want to be part of the program. Is there any money that I pay? Is there any money that's involved in that?
That's a fantastic question. Our program is a passion project for me. So it's really free. We thank our mentors who are giving us their time. So, they're providing us with their time, and they're not paid for this because we don't have capacity to pay for these things. And the beneficiary is obviously the mentee. So we expect the mentee to be driving the program in terms of coming up with your goals and getting someone who's experienced enough to walk through achieving some of those goals, to break those goals into smaller achievable tasks. And then every month it's really like a roll call to see how you're tracking with those goals. So it's a free program. And we thank our mentors for that sacrifice, for giving back, for passing it on. Because before we know it, those mentees will become mentors to our kids. I mean, I've got a four-year son, nearly 4, and another one coming on the way anytime soon. We could be celebrating my other child. But what success for me looks like 18 years down the track, 17 years down the track, whatever it is. Seeing my son also benefiting from uncles and aunties and brothers and sisters who've walked this path before and giving back that knowledge. So that's why we exist. We are actually, I see myself as planting a seed for a tree, a big, baobab tree that I will never actually enjoy personally the fruits, but
those that come
after us will enjoy that mawuyu from the baobab tree.
I love that. So, when is your next event? So that people who are in that space would want to come and also participate.
So we are working in collaboration with APA, so African Professionals Australia, and they're going to run a program, an event in Sydney. So we just did Melbourne, which was a great success. Thank you, Melbourneites, for blessing us. Now we are going to Sydney. So next stop is Sydney. APA will take a lead, but we are in collaboration with them, right? So we will be flying to Sydney, I think 30th of May. You'll see some comms coming up, and obviously follow us on our socials so that you don't miss any of these things. But Sydney will be next, followed by Perth around September, the September mark. But in between also, we host a variety of workshops online. So we encourage people to attend those as well, because we actually try to bring experts to be speaking to our people. So when we host those workshops, sometimes we are preparing mentors, sometimes we're preparing mentees on what to expect. And because we are a structured mentorship program, what we expect as well as a program. And goes to various topics like cyber, like, immigration, CV writing. We've got a mixed bag of things that we host workshops. So we recently, our US chapter, did I mention we are global? Yeah. Our US chapter recently hosted a workshop as well on that transition that we spoke about before. How can we make that transition a little bit smoother for our young people? And they touched on AI, what AI is doing to to our jobs, the anxiety around AI and stuff like that, CVs, and the work environment in this season that we're in of a lot of tech, a lot of sustainability talk. What does that mean for us? So we do host a lot of interesting workshops that you guys can tap into and participate as well.
So you are in Australia and in the US, anywhere else where people can find you?
Yeah. So last year we were very busy. As you can imagine, we registered in Australia. We saw the response here. At the tail end of the year, we managed to register our organization in Canada. And we managed to register our organization in the US. Our South African registration is underway, so we're just waiting to hear back from the authorities. But I'm happy to say, as of last week, our Zambian chapter is now registered and fully fledged.
Oh, wow.
So we are looking to go and expand our offering in Africa itself. So at the tail end of this year, you see a lot of activity in Africa itself. Of course, we want to create a global community for people to tap into the talent pool that already exists. So it can be a barrier that, Godfrey, you're sitting here in Brisbane and there's someone who could benefit from you in Kigali or in Ndola in Zambia. There, you know, we need to be the bridge that brings the communities together and tap into the opportunities that do exist already.
That's very powerful. It's actually a very big vision that you have there, and you guys are doing fantastic work. I'm sure that there are a lot of students who will benefit from this, and also it's just not students. I say it beyond just students benefiting from the program. They could be new graduates who are coming into the professional space who need hand-holding, like the other person hand-held you into becoming who you are today.
So, I think we emphasize students too much, but our target audience is not really just the students.
Yeah.
Our target audience for the mentees is university students or vocational center students, like TAFE students, and early career professionals. So it's not only just the students; it's those people who just started, because it's hard as well. You know, you can get given a job today as a student, your dream job, you learn that. But navigating that's a whole different phase. That's a whole different chapter. Knowing what to say, the art of negotiation, the art of being part of a teaming, right? Those coffees, how important are they? If someone said, let's go for a coffee downstairs, that's where things actually happen. You know, the printer conversation, the cooler conversation. It takes someone to actually walk you, like my mentee, walk them through even designing that development every year, right? Development goals. You need assistance with that. If you don't know what you're putting in there, your boss is going to say that's what you want. They'll work with you towards that. But if it's not going to give you the upside, you're not doing anything. So there are many, many things and resources available to us as employees that if we know how to tap into that, and how do we know that? By getting that guidance from people who have done it before, we could actually accelerate and turbocharge our careers as well. So, you know, early careers is where it is as well. So we definitely need to have them on board.
Okay, guys, this is gold to those that are seeking it. There's a lot to learn from. There's a lot to benefit from being part of this program. It really, you know, shortens your journey. You know, you might, some things that you take 2 years to understand with the mentor might take you a very short time. So this is something very beautiful that you guys are doing. But you and I have a lot to chat about. But because of time, we'll need to have a part 2 coming up, probably after the Sydney event. But thank you so much for giving us your time. And any last words out there to our viewers?
Well, first of all, thank you for providing the platform. And like I said before, I think this platform is very important. This is exactly what we need to capture and have somewhere where we can self-serve on these conversations. Storytelling is very, very important. It's a leadership skill. It's also important in shaping communities. So as we grow as Zimbabweans in Australia and as Africans as a whole, we definitely need more of these things. So well done for creating such a platform.
Thank you.
And as my parting words, I think I just want to encourage again, those people with access to internship opportunities for our participants, access to work experience opportunities for our people, and access to resources as well. As an organization, not for profit, we definitely need sponsors, we definitely need supporters, partners, people who are progressive or companies that are progressive to come on board and to help us achieve this big audacious goal that we have of empowering the next generation of African leaders. With that, thank you, Ben.
Thank you so much, Kuda, and to our viewers, thank you so much for joining us. This was a very insightful conversation, and I hope that many people will benefit from this. And till next week, it's goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Yeah.